God knows how to keep you in a safe place. Even when it looks like it's too late, He knows how to distract your enemies. He knows how to change people's plans, how to turn that trouble, turn the sickness, turn the opposition. I can imagine sickness coming looking for you. It has all the details, knows where you live, where you work. The enemy's done his surveillance. When that sickness comes to the door, you may answer, but like my friend, you're invisible to the enemy. It has to go back, sorry, I couldn't find them. When you know God has you in a safe place, invisible to the enemy, then you can live at peace. You're not at risk, open game. Any moment something bad can happen. God has you hidden where you cannot be found. Many things that were sent to stop you, trouble, calamity, bad breaks, they had your name on them. They had your address. The reason they couldn't stop you is they couldn't find you. God had you in a safe place. When you make the Lord your God, when you stay under the shelter of the Most High, the Scripture says He covers you with His wings. He'll hide you from things that could have brought you down. See, the enemy has schemes and strategies to try to keep you from your destiny. People were set in motion, headed your way to cause trouble. The problem was they couldn't find you. They showed up, but you were invisible to the trouble, invisible to the sickness, invisible to the layoff. God protected you and you didn't even know it. Well, Joel, it didn't work for me. I must not be invisible. I had an accident. I got laid off. I came down with this sickness. Yes, but that sickness couldn't finish you off. That accident couldn't take you out. That layoff didn't stop your purpose. When trouble came, God put you in a safe place. That difficulty is not how your story ends. God has the final say. He's not only going to take care of what's trying to stop you, but He's going to bring you out better. In the Old Testament, God sent plagues on Pharaoh and his people for not letting the Israelites go. The final plague was the firstborn of their children were going to be killed. God told the Israelites they had to put blood on the doorpost of their house. When the death angel came, as long as they had blood over their house, they were invisible to the enemy. There was no harm to their family. That night, thousands of lives were lost. There was all kinds of grieving, great sorrow. What's interesting is none of the Israelites lost their lives, yet they were living next door to their oppressors. It wasn't like they were hundreds of miles away. They were all in the same area. What was the difference? One had the blood and the other didn't. One was under the shelter of the Most High, covered by His wings. The other wasn't. When you keep the blood over your house, when you honor God, you stay close to Him, you have an advantage. He hides you when trouble comes. He makes you invisible to the enemy. When calamity showed up at your house, like with them, it passes you by. When people want to harm you, when sickness, when early death comes, that may have been sent for you. Schemes and strategies that have your name on them, stay in peace. You're covered by the blood. You're under the shelter of the Most High. Things that take other people out can't take you out. Trouble that defeats others won't stop you. Sickness that should be the end can't take your life. You're in a safe place. You don't have to live worrying, fearing what might happen, fearing getting cancer, fearing being laid off. Joel, with this pandemic, I'm worried about my business. What if my finances go down? No, the good news is you have blood on your doorpost. You belong to the Most High. Now get in agreement with Him. Lord, thank you that my finances are invisible to the enemy. Thank you that my income, my business, my savings, my property are all in a safe place. I know this couple that own a business, and when the pandemic hit, it looked like it would go down. They're in the service industry with people not being out, having to stay home. All the facts said they would have an off year. But this couple had a different approach. They understood that when trouble comes, God will hide you, that He can make you invisible to what's going on around you. invisible to a down economy, invisible to an environment that says lack and not enough. And instead of complaining, their report was, Father, thank you that even in famine, we will have more than enough. Thank you that the economy is not our source, but you are our source. I told at the first of the year how we were going to see overflow, abundance, running over blessings. It seemed like an odd time, but they dared to believe for an overflow year. They said this July, in the middle of the pandemic, they had their best month ever, broke all records going back over 20 years. They were so excited. Then August beat July. Then September beat August. They kept increasing, defying the odds. They can't explain it. Doesn't make sense. When competitors are going down, they're going up. How could this be? They are invisible to the enemy. When you honor God, when you keep Him first place, what limits others won't limit you. Now you have to give God something to work with. You can't go around with a defeated mindset. Joel, this sounds good, but I'm afraid my children are going to get off course. This sickness runs in my family. I'm afraid I'm going to get it. The scripture says, what you fear is going to come upon you. Quit living out of fear and start living out of faith. Father, thank you that my health is invisible to the enemy, that I will run and not be weary, that with long life you will satisfy me. Faith and fear have something in common. They both ask us to believe something that we can't see. Whichever one you get in agreement with is the one that's going to come to pass. Well, I'm afraid I'm not going to get well. You're using your faith in the wrong direction. Turn it around. Father, thank you that you're restoring health back into me.